Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Frost Over the World from India, currently in the middle of the biggest democratic election in history anywhere. Put together all the eligible electors in the United States and Europe, and they don't equal the 714 million eligible voters here in India, with 828,804 polling centres. We'll be talking to leading politicians, of course, and we'll be talking to a newspaper magnate, and just for a change of pace, also to the man said by many to be the greatest megastar Bollywood has ever known. Only 5 months on from the Mumbai attacks, India is still on a high alert, which adds to the security problems of an election with so many voters. In fact, so concerned about security are the police authorities that the massively popular new Indian Premier League cricket competition has had to be moved to South Africa. Voting takes place in 5 phases over 5 weeks. It's noisy, colourful and exciting, so we've come here to take the temperature of this colossal campaign. And now, as you can see, we've moved. We've moved to the official residence of Kamal Nath, who is the head in the Cabinet of Congress of Commerce and Industry. Thank you for welcoming us here. This is an astonishing, that's the thing one gets the feeling of, all astonishing operation, isn't it, this election?
Well, it's perhaps one of the largest management exercises in the world, involving booths, polling centers, polling booths across the country, in remote areas. I remember that until 10 years ago, they would carry the ballot boxes by mules in my own district, in my own constituency. And it's a phenomenal exercise.
It is huge, isn't it?
It's very complex because each part of the country is different to the other. The complexity of the Indian democracy, right from the urban centers, the urban elite, the tribal areas, and areas where they don't even know what they're going to vote for. So it's complete. It covers such a broad spectrum of people, of places, of issues, of mindsets. And India is not only the largest democracy, it is the rowdiest democracy.
You've got this amazing record of an average of 9% growth over the last 4 years, and at the same time you've got the world-famous credit crunch as well. How much is that affecting you right now at commerce and industry and throughout the economy?
Well, India is integrated with the global economy, and we can't be isolated from it. But at the same time, we are not dependent. We are interconnected with the global economy, but we are not dependent on the global economy. That means we are totally dependent. And it has hurt us, but India's growth pattern has been a domestic demand-driven growth. So while it is hurting us, the impact of it is not as much as it's in other countries. Where the credit crisis is concerned, yes, that affects our exports, that affects our international business. But in India, our banking system is fine. What are we seeing? In the UK, we are seeing government giving money to banks. In India, banks are giving money to the government. So it's the other way around all over the world. You're seeing the United States, the great financial centers of the world, United States and the UK, giving money to their banks, and here is the other way around. So that's the big difference.
And in terms of the redistribution of monies within a country, 300 million people below the poverty line, they say, in a country that is, as you say, remarkably prosperous. How soon can, as they use the old phrase, how soon can the riches trickle down to the 300 million?
Well, one of our big challenges is all-inclusive growth. That has been one of the policies we pursued in government. But the numbers are so large and the challenge is so big. So I think it's going to be another 10 years. But let us not forget that rural India today is not affected by the global crisis. I come from rural India, It's not affected by the global crisis. It's not affected by any national recession. There's a boom in rural India.
And what about the Congress Party? Over the years, the number of seats, it's still in the last election the largest number of seats. But looking ahead, I mean, are the glory days when the Congress Party had many, many more seats gone forever because there is now so many different parties? I mean, is it inevitable that gradually the Congress Party will subside to less than 100 seats over the next 10 years?
I don't think so. I think it's going to happen the other way around. There is a phase.
I thought you might say that.
There is a phase. The phase is that first there was the Congress Party. Now, then came up parties who are regional, who are local. And in a developmental process, politics in a developing country is very different. And they go and promise them everything on the basis of caste, on the basis of a shortcut in development. You and I know there are no shortcuts to growth. People will understand this. And I think by the time we come to the next elections, people are already fed up with the fragmentation of Indian polity. They are saying these parties do nothing. They only tell us they'll do it. And I think that the days of national parties will come back again.
Well, thank you very much for that vision of the future, and we look forward to seeing what happens on May the 16th and in the future. Thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Thank you.
From the Congress Party, the current ruling party, we moved across New Delhi to the leading opposition party, the BJP, and Arun Shourie, a leading member of the national executive of the BJP. Arun, great to have you with us. The first basic question of the program must be, what is the crucial difference between Congress and the BJP? What's the most crucial difference? Is it dynasty or something else?
It could be one of the factors is that the Congress is organized around a family. The other point I think is that they have not been as aggressive on reforms, on economic reforms as was expected of them, and in the BJP and in the other alliance, we had taken reforms substantially forward. The third thing we feel is that they have been lax on national security issues, both on external security and on internal security, and this is evident in many instances. And the fourth point of difference is that in our assessment, they go for sectional appeals for caste-based reservations, for instance, reservations on government jobs. They say for private jobs also on the basis of religion, and we are strongly opposed to that.
Are there other areas that you are centering on apart from the economy?
Yes, I think on internal security, for instance, the spread of left-wing violence in India. These are people called Naxalites. They are extreme left people who take to the gun, and they had said that they would create a red corridor between Nepal and a state in central South India, and that would be out of the reach of the writ of the Indian state. And in effect, they have been able to create that. We have from the British times districts in the country is administratively divided between districts. We have about 610 of them, and about 170 of them are now affected by left-wing violence. Just the other day, to give a signal, don't go to vote, they blocked a complete train. They were to just hijack not a little airplane but an entire train in the heart of India. And again, persons like me had been warning of their growth, of their strategies, and that please proceed rapidly on police modernization programs, and that was just not done. So internal security is one. The abdication of our interests in Nepal and sort of the outsourcing of foreign policy by this government to the communists in India really facilitated a government coming into being in Nepal, which is much more, which for the first time is giving the Chinese an opening onto the southern slopes of the Himalayas and onto the plains.
So the first thing people would notice if the BJP won this election, if after May the 16th the results showed that you were in the lead, the first difference that the people of India would feel would be what?
Implementation of projects. Second, a great effort to control corruption. It is unbridled in this government, with a Prime Minister who is a very honest man and a decent man, but is completely, at least pretends to be completely helpless in curbing corruption in departments which I had cleaned up. What I hear from the officers now is absolutely shocking. So that would be a difference you would see from day one.
That's from day one. What about, this is probably day 2 or day 3, but what about foreign policy? I mean, would India be pressing for a seat, permanent seat on the Security Council straight away?
But it can't do it, till the general reorganization of the Security Council is taken in hand, and till the opposition of a country like China is overcome by Western and other powers, until the United States and other the permanent members solve the problem, for instance, of European representation, with 3 permanent members are to be replaced by 1 or 2 rotating members. Till those things are sorted out, I don't see the Security Council being something that's going to happen immediately.
That's not immediate.
I don't think so.
Well, it's been terrific taking this overall view. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. We are long-term admirers of yours.
Thank
all
you.
Of us.
That's very kind of you.